Hi, my name is Martin from Strat Chat, and we're not being particularly imaginative. I think it's almost one of the first things that Crusader Kings 3 players did if they were from England. We're going to play as William the Bastard, and the goal for today's episode is very, very simple and straightforward. We're going to try and get him a better nickname. Clearly, he conquers England, he becomes famously William the Conqueror. That point we'll stop, but we will be coming back to it on Wednesday, and we're going to do a playthrough and just see what we can achieve under really very, very kind of powerful English emergent state, really. Let's get started. So let's have a look at myself quickly. Good marshal, as we would expect, also good stewardship. And the wife, excellent stewardship. That's going to be really, really good. Key thing is going to be leading in battle. And my key strategy here is to not think too far ahead. I don't want to be lining up for after the conquest, although that's kind of good play. Because if I don't put all of my resources into actually becoming the King of England, then kind of everything fails. So that's the key thing, is everything goes towards winning this coming war, possibly with one exception, which I'll come to later. So let's go to our enemy. Right, so Harold is eminently beatable. He's obviously got to fight Harold, and he's got to fight me. All I really need to do is get a couple of counties in the south of England and London, and perhaps win a war or two. And we've done it. The danger here is that between now and starting, he's going to get some alliances. So what I'm going to see if I can do is see if I can pick up a couple of alliances, strengthen my hand, and perhaps make his worse. Right, so I've had a little bit of a look round. I've got a couple of daughters that would be very young daughters, be suitable for marriage or betrothals, which we could even break later on. I can get one with Scotland, which I think is really useful because I think Harold is likely to ally Scotland. But I'm going to have to give them, in order to sway them, I'm going to have to give them a gift of gold, about 165 gold, which is quite a chunk really. And Scotland's not mega powerful. Denmark is. Now, as weird as it feels, if I take my daughter here, I can actually betroth her to the King of Denmark, Svend. They won't get married for 11 years, by which time, he might not even be alive. 3,000. That's got to be worth it, hasn't it? That's a powerful alliance. Another 1,700 here. I think it's worth bringing those in, stealing those relatively easy marriages. Okay, so I've got an alliance with Brittany and Denmark. Let's remember to leave the prestige there to bring them both in. Right, everything's got to be aimed at winning the war, so this has to be the one we go for. A little bit more prowess for me, but 15% knight effectiveness. That's a direct contribution to victory. Okay. That's just a no-brainer. We're going for Marshal because we're going to be leading this. We're easily our best general. I quite like sappers, but we're going to reset perks because I want to get myself down to Household Guard. I want an additional 4 knights, and I certainly want that 75% knight effectiveness, which gets us up to 90% if you add in the one that we had before, the 15% we just got. So let's reset them. Bit of stress, but, we're conquering England, for heaven's sake. It's going to be stressful. Stalwart leader makes it a little bit less likely that I'm going to die. Chivalric dominance is an absolute must. No back down is good. Household Guard is awesome. I'm left with 4. So we want to go up here a little bit. Obviously, Bellum Justum. Organised march is good. Siege weapon effectiveness is good. Living off the land. Very good. Okay, right. We need living off the land because one of the biggest problems with invading England is that it takes a long time, and that it's difficult to get back home. You've got to cross the sea in order to resupply or to rebuild your armies. So I think that's the right combination that we've got there. So we've now got 12 knights. If we just hit force and allow. So our best one is 16. Our worst one is 8. Okay, that's not terrible. We've got nearly a 200% knight effectiveness. Kind of living with that. Let's look at the rest of our military. So the key thing is Duke William's host. We lose these on succession, so at the end of the day, they're cannon fodder for this campaign. These guys are ready 200, and obviously we could boost them up to 500. But what I'm going to do is create a new men-at-arms. So the reason that we're going to be creating like a separate regiment, even though it's in some ways quite inefficient, is that they can be building in Normandy while this one is there and fighting, if that makes sense. We get a size 3. Do you get a size 5? We've done it. Okay, so that's going to take time to get to 500, but when they do, they're going to be very, very welcome reinforcements later on in the campaign. Unfortunately, she's not brilliant in chivalry. But we should put her on that anyway. So obviously, we'll take all of these alliances. Yeah, there's perhaps another sort of 700 troops there or something. I'm going to leave Count Robert alone. I don't want to upset anybody at the moment, and it's not going to make any difference to the war. Courtiers. Okay, what can this lady find us? So let's make sure we've reset all defaults. Got on matrilineal. I'm not really worried about diplomacy. Might be nice to have a decent commander. Renato is a decent commander. Bit reckless, but he's decent. Ooh, that would be very useful after the war. He's not much use to us. A little bit tempted by this. Oh, one thing, right. Swaying this guy is going to be really helpful once we're King of England. It's the only action I'm taking for after the war. If I can sway Bishop Richard, it's going to really improve our income once we become King of England. There's a lot of church holdings. And what about prowess? Right, that's what we're going for. Bring these guys in with very, very high prowess. Improve our knights. No harm in a reasonable second commander, is there? Okay. Okay, so very, very simple plan. I think we'll simply land in Dover. It's a level 2 fort, 277 garrison. Better take it quite quickly. We'll leave a relatively small amount of troops there, and we'll move our guys away and either go for the barony of Lewes or the barony of Chertsey. And basically, we'll take kind of Kent, and then we'll try to keep all our forces this side of the River Thames. The idea being that if Harold comes, he'll cross the river, and we'll have some sort of advantage as we're fighting him. And then when we're ready, we'll cross the river as a force to try to take London. It's all going to be about attrition. It's all going to be about keeping a fighting army in farmland where it can be supplied while sieges are going on, and then being ready to intercept attacking Anglo-Saxon forces. I think we're kind of ready for this war, so let's just check where our rally point is. That's where we want it. So we'll hit raise all here. Right, this is nice and easy, isn't it? Go for athletic. It's the one thing that reduces stress that actually provides benefits. Excellent. Okay, so we're splitting off the armoured footmen that we just created, and we are going to disband those. Everything else under a 34 commander going to be heading into the sea. So we've called Denmark in. Our other ally we can't call in at the moment. Okay, Svend is involved, so that's great news. So you see what I mean by attrition? We're losing all this money at the moment. That might get a little bit better when... It won't get better, will it? We're losing all this money. We've got to start capturing castles, which will help to slow that down. We don't want to be fighting wars when we're in debt. And also we're going to be losing men from basically from day one. So we raise these guys, when they get to 500, we'll raise them, and they'll bring with them the additional knights that we have recruited. Okay. 4 months. Okay. We'll simply put our marshal in front of them, in charge of them. And we'll march out. And wherever we go, we're going to lose men. So we'll split William's host in half. And simply move them separately to keep down attrition losses. We've got a lot of allies arriving, which is really handy. Got no siege engines here, so it's very slow here. William's doing a little bit better. 3 months left. This place will fall shortly. I've got to say, Harold is really leaving us alone, which is kind of handy. Right, the extra 32 from taking Dover is very, very useful. Let's send the guys here, speed this siege up. Okay, we only took 4 from there, but we can begin moving on London. Right, doesn't look like there's any enemy around, so let's cross. Okay, this is risky. Let's send this second army up to be with the Duke. Nice one. Okay, let's get them all together. Have we got a full... Right, we're getting there. 2 more months we can bring those guys over. Right, here they come. Okay, we'll leave besiegers behind. And we go and try and intercept this force. Right, looks like we got a big battle on. Should win it. Very close. Okay, that's given us a massive victory. We captured a couple of guys. Are these guys ready to come over yet? Yes. Okay, so we can raise all armies. How much is that going to cost? Nothing. Surprising. Okay, let's have a quick look at the victory. Yeah, huge victory. And the thing is, they're going to rout now for some distance, retreating only for 2 days. Okay, interesting. I think we need to get back to London. Richard's swayed, that's super. Right, let's just go and make use of the time by waiting there. Potentially take another castle if we need to. I think when London falls, this could be it. Okay. Right, good bit of money. Good bit of prisoners, including King Harold's wife. Factions we're not worrying about. Okay. So it looks like we need another victory. I think we screwed this up. And we're not taking most of the casualties, which at least is something. Right, we'll win anyway. Oh, we've got another battle going on there. We're winning both battles. Okay, I'm kind of pleasantly surprised about that. That's thanks to our allies. Right, 95%. I think we need to take one more county. And I think we're done. There we go. Okay, victory. It's always a bit hairy, but we don't really need to achieve that much. There's still a war going against Harold. There's a possibility that we're inheriting that. Let's just have a look at Harold. Yeah, it's a possibility we're inheriting this war. Let's have a look. Let's not disband anything. Am I still in a war? No. Okay, so I can disband. Okay. All right, I'm no longer William the Bastard. I'm now William the Conqueror. There's a lot to do. The Anglo-Saxon lords in the north are not going to like me, and I want to avoid a conflict with them at all costs until I'm strong enough to take them on. I own all of this territory, but at 22 cannons, I've clearly got to give lots of those away. I hold 2 duchies. All kinds of things to be thinking about. The one thing that I did think about in advance was to sway this guy, and that's been really, really helpful because it means I am getting some money from church holdings. It's not a lot, and I'm going to carry on swaying him. And I've still got 200, so I could potentially buy things. But I think what we're looking at is Kent and Essex as being my main domain. I've got to give the rest of it away to people who are going to be loyal to me. So we're going to come back tomorrow and we're going to basically build a strong, stable kingdom of England and think about where we're going to go from there. Well, not tomorrow. We're going to come back on Wednesday. Till then, take care. Bye-bye.